And here's another potential danger of AI that many of us hadn't considered. It can be used to exploit children through pornography. Top prosecutors in all 50 states are using and urging Congress to study how bad actors could use the technology to harm our kids. They want federal lawmakers to come up with legislation to further guard against this. And there is a letter that was sent this week to Republican and Democratic leaders of the House and Senate. The attorneys general from across the country are calling on Congress to, quote, establish an expert commission to study the means and the methods of AI that can be used to exploit children specifically. They also want federal lawmakers to expand existing restrictions on child sex abuse materials, specifically to cover AI-generated images. Boy, the future is now, and parts of it look pretty scary. I want to bring in Leah Plunkett, now faculty at Harvard Law School. She's also the author of the award-winning book, Sharenthood, Why We Should Think Before We Talk About Our Kids Online. Thank you for being with us. I want to read a portion of the prosecutor's letter in regards to AI and exploiting children. They say we're engaged in a race against time to protect the children of our country from the dangers of AI. Indeed, the proverbial walls of the city have already been breached. Now is the time to act. Would you agree now is the time, and what would you like to see from Congress?
I agree that now is the time to act, and I would like to see Congress answer this call from top prosecutors, and I would like to see Congress and other state and federal actors look quickly and thoroughly at existing laws and existing law enforcement resources to act under existing laws to try to guard against some of the greatest threats under current legislation, regulation, and law enforcement options.
Back in May, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, whose company makes free chat box tools, ChatGPT, one of them, said government intervention will be critical to mitigating the risks of AI. Here's more about what he had to say.
I think if this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong. And we want to be vocal about that. We want to work with the government to prevent that from happening. But we try to be very clear-eyed about what the downside case is and the work that we have to do to mitigate that.
I see this, Leah, as a good place to be, right? He understands the need for collaboration. What does that collaboration and cooperation between the government and tech companies look like?
That collaboration looks like a couple of key things. One is close collaboration between the government and existing trust and safety teams at tech companies, or action by tech companies that don't have robust trust and safety teams to build up those teams in a thoughtful, thorough way. Next, it looks like industry being transparent with the government about what it sees as the major threats. And third, it looks like industry engaging in some voluntary self-regulation to try to put guardrails in place around products that it is choosing to put on the market.
So these are a lot of extra measures that will fall on the shoulders of tech companies. Are you optimistic, given the profits that could be made from some of this technology, that they will move forward in that direction?
I am optimistic that the tech sector in this country, which continues to lead the globe in tech innovation, will do the right thing by our children and by our families and communities. I also, though, think it is absolutely crucial that government not wait for a new commission or new legislation even, but that our state attorneys general and government officials from the local, state, federal, and international level look now at what they can do under existing laws, regulations, and policies to protect our kids.
If I'm a parent at home watching this, and I'm a parent sitting here watching it thinking, so how do I take part in the solution here? What steps and measures can I take? When you're talking about the dangers of AI and something like AI exploiting our children in sexual and pornographic ways, what are some examples of how it's already been able to infiltrate the system?
If you are a parent watching at home, you should know that existing generative AI tools and emerging ones are remarkably sophisticated at producing realistic images based on photographs of real children. So a simple step that parents, as well as grandparents, aunts, uncles, teachers, coaches, and other trusted adults can take now is to limit or stop sharenting. Sharenting being a combination of the words share and parent. Most of us don't think much of taking a couple of pictures and putting them on social media or otherwise digitally transmitting them. Now more than ever, it is time for us as adults to protect the kids in our homes and schools and neighborhoods by limiting or stopping putting images of kids that we know and love out on the open internet.
The risk too great. Message received. Leah Plunkett, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.